hours and just about 48 minutes until the kickoff of the Paris Games. Nathan is on standby with a Paris podium takeover. Over to you, Mr. Curtis.
That's right, Dennis. We are now just a couple of days away from the start of the Paris Olympics, with the opening ceremony scheduled for the River Seine on Friday. In this week's segment, we'll be exploring the world of athletes and how they utilize social media platforms, which, well, you know, there's been some, the Olympics has a huge global audience. So just how can athletes capitalize during the games? I'm not sure they can they? But joining us is marketing consultant and head of Leap Marketing, Tanya Perkins, and host of the popular podcast, Bwoyatingz After Dark, whom in 2021 was named one of Jamaica's top 10 social media influencers, Kareem with us. Guys, welcome to Sunrise.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, well, you guys are regulars here. You know that.
Yeah, it's home.
So social media and athletes, you know there's been a lot of chitter-chatter. How can they utilize it in this Paris 2024 Olympics?
All right, well, I feel like, first of all, let's talk about the fact that Paris is huge. When you look at the global audience, it's going to be about 3 billion strong. Wow. And social media is the biggest global sales tool that you have now in marketing. So I think it's very important that athletes utilize it because that's when track and field comes alive. It's the biggest event in track and field, even though it's not only track and field. So it's now that you want to talk to an audience and try and grab new fans, engage with people who are interested in the sport and who are looking at you for probably the first time. And so that visibility is very important.
It is. It is.
But Kareem, let me ask, you know, there's a lot of athletes who are more low-key. Even our own local athletes don't want to be on social media, want to stay away from that space. What do you think corporate is looking for someone who they want to sponsor, who they want to sell their brand on social media? What do you want to see from an athlete in that space?
Being authentically you. Like, you don't have to, you know, be someone else, right? Like, there's so many athletes who are very low-key or very reserved, and they have major corporate sponsors. Just post clean content, just be yourself. And I think that is what corporate brands needs to see. You don't have to pretend to be nobody else, you understand? So if you don't want to speak spooky, you don't have to really speak spooky. You don't have to smile and have clap and go on with the things them, but just being you. And I think that's what they want to see. Just clean content that, you know, can also, you know, traverse through different markets, really and truly.
Let me ask, because I was saying it to Tanya earlier, do you think there is a personal and a professional page difference for athletes? Do you think there should be a separation, or is it once you're an athlete, anything you put out on social media has to have that professional touch to it?
Absolutely not. I don't think there needs to be
a difference, no.
Like
Your personal is your professional, you're a public figure. And I think that you have a global brand, you have global reach, you have a global audience because of the sport that you do. So the personal almost takes a backseat to the professional in that regard. But the authenticity of being you. So everybody has a unique offering to the world. What is your unique offering? How can I strategically place that in front of an audience? What's going to, and it's entertainment. Sport is entertainment. So how can I entertain people? And you go in the direction that is suited. If I like to cook, then maybe I'm doing cooking videos. If I like to dress up, you know, Jaden Hibbert, one of my athletes, Jaden is going to do his get ready with me. He's going to show you how he gets ready for his meets. So I think you can do that kind of content if you're interested in fashion. You know, and Noah Lyles is very good at that as well. And you collab with other athletes. So recently you saw where even Jaden and Noah would have done a collab, a walkout before, was it Racers Grand Prix?
It was Racers Grand Prix and also in Bermuda.
And in Bermuda. Right, yes. So that's important to do. But whatever it is that you enjoy, bring that to your fans.
Let me ask you, how does the athlete distinguish themselves from other athletes? Because one of the things that you're going to find is everybody's doing the same content.
Being yourself. Nobody else is you. And then also strategize. So usually what you have to do is, I think it's very important to create a brand plan. What is it that you want to speak to the world about? How do you express yourself? What is your unique brand voice? If we think about it, we're all very different. Kareem and I are very different people, and we are unique in our own way, but we have value to specific audiences, and we do it differently, even though we're both in the sports space. By the way, he's fully now sports. Do you realize?
Really?
You realize?
Yeah, because I hear the talk and I was wondering,
I think he's doing a good job in his space, but it's a unique offering, and I think that's where now you differentiate yourself because you're being you.
So let me ask, for traditional media, you realize that there is a kind of catching up happening because social media is where you find a lot of content happening for major sporting events. How do we kind of straddle that role? For traditional media, how do they make the most of it? And how, as a fan watching, you go, I prefer to watch it here versus there. How does that play for you guys?
you know what, I don't want to get in the problems, but for me, I think that, you know, social media offers us a glimpse into, you know, athletes' lives and, you know, who they are, and we can interact, right? I think that, you know, sometimes traditional media is kind of, you know, stifling creativity just a little bit, and, you know, it's just not as engaging as, you know, it can be. Like, I feel like there is a market, obviously.
Yes,
right,
I think the reason for that is when you think about the original use of traditional media, and also because they're held to a higher standard by society, so they have to be a lot more careful about what they're posting. When you think about the legal ramifications, there's so much that goes into it. I think that's a consideration. But because of the proliferation of a lot of non-traditional, visible sites now on social media, you find that traditional media is now playing catch up in that regard. So it's a very important space. As we said, it's a global marketing tool. So traditional media has to now catch up, but it's much more nimble and much less repercussions, I will say, for a non-traditional media space to just post anything.
That's true.
So
one quick one. One tip, one advice for athletes going into the Olympic Village, how they maximize on this Olympics.
Being yourself. Like, just understand that there is a possibility that, as Tanya said earlier, millions, billions of people, right, will be tuning in. Just be yourself and just live in the moment. That's it.
For me, the number one thing is visibility and performance. So you're going there to do well. That's very important, guys. But you're also going to grab fans, engage with an audience, and be visible. So my number one suggestion would be visible. That's going to bring you sponsorships.
Love it. Our guest this morning was Tanya Lee Perkins, marketing consultant and head of fleet marketing, and Kareem Bwoyatingz, Wells, the social media influencer, radio, podcast host, a million other things, a bag of things. More Sunrise after the break, guys. Thank you.